I think Brandon Cook said it well. The Beavs are not a surprise anymore. 10 wins last season. You're entering year 6. The reigning Pac-12 co-head coach of the year, Jonathan Smith. I know, you look at what you guys were able to do last year, Coach, and you finished with a blowout win just down the road at Allegiant Stadium over Florida in the Vegas Bowl. And you've got facility upgrades, you've got great players, you've got a great new quarterback that came into your system. I know sustained success is the goal. So where are you, big picture, coming into year 6?
Yeah, that is the goal, to continue to improve and sustain. And yeah, we've made some nice progress over the last 5 years. Facility-wise, opening a brand new, completed Research Stadium this fall. Couldn't be more excited about that. Feel really good about the locker room. I've got a lot of returning players that have been productive. At the same time, some new additions to add to that. Coaching staff that's had some solid continuity, allowing us to kind of, establish an identity on both sides of the ball. I think that allows you to sustain. And again, each year is new. Just because what happened last year took place doesn't guarantee you anything for this fall. But I know our guys are excited about the challenge that this conference is going to represent.
Okay, we'll open it up to questions now. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Remember to state your name and affiliation, and we'll bring you a microphone. We'll start over here on the right in the second row.
Kind of a fangirl question here. Lisa Horn, Pigskin Grind. Prior to this head coaching gig here, you have never been a head coach, correct? And I just want you to explain to everyone how you got here, what inspired you, and what do you think were the biggest factors in getting to where you are right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like you mentioned, so you become the head coach, and we've been doing it now for 5-6 years. I always tried to keep the forefront of my mind of what it was like to be an assistant, the experience of what that was like, and things I appreciated, things I didn't being an assistant. Because I do think for me, leadership role, it's people focused. It's the others that are around you and their experience of how their day-to-day's like. Do they feel like you get a chance to be competitive? Are we doing things at the cutting edge? Because you want that continued buy-in. And, we've been fortunate with the people we've surrounded the building with. The head coaching role has continued to change over those 5 years. I mean, this job now, I think it's quite a bit different than it was 5 years ago with the ever-changing landscape of, recruiting and whatnot. But I still think that core piece of the people you got yourself around and remembering what their experience is like and you're trying to create an environment where people can do their best work. And we're striving to do that every day.
Next question here is in the third row on the left.
Tyler Budge, CF Budge. You had a couple of guys that have been with the program for a while, and Tristan and Chance get opportunities at other programs this offseason. What kind of a feeling is that, seeing them get those chances? Is that sort of a bittersweet feeling?
It's really sweet, to be honest with you. And, each guy's a little bit unique, but Tristan's opportunity, he wants to get into coaching. And what an unbelievable opportunity that is for him to go to a big-time program with a big-time head coach and coaches and really learn. And, opportunity to compete for 1 year. He'd done a ton for our program, so in no way was I down on him for going in and to finish his career doing that. Really the same thing with Chance. Chance did a lot of good things for us. Won games as a starting quarterback, looked for a new opportunity, which we were fully supportive of, and now he's going to a place with just won a bunch of games last year. So really couldn't be happier for both those guys.
Front row here on the left.
Kenneth Berry, Touchdowns and Tangents Network. Coach, after the schedule that you had last year, whether it was Mountain West, whoever you played, and the addition of DJ, how much further along is this program, and what does he bring as far as a championship pedigree?
Yeah, what? He brings a lot. And again, I go back to the experience we had last year, this roster continuing to grow and improve, but it's college football. You got to replace some guys. You want to win a championship each year, you need newcomers, next guy up, development of your freshmen, sophomores that need to be ready to play. But again, with the landscape of the transfer portal, an opportunity to create more competition in the QB room, I think that only makes the QB room better. And we're living that experience right now, because we do. I mean, DJ comes along, and he's played in some big-time games, and this is a whole new offense on him. But he's also competing against a guy that started 8 games for us last year and won 7 of them, in Ben Goldbranson. And then we recruited, I think, a freshman that has a bright future in Aiden Childs. And so you have 3 guys competing that way. I think it'll only make everybody better.
Far back right.
Yeah, Coach Smith, a couple questions for you real quick. I think first off, you got the best running game top to bottom in the Pac-12 with Martinez, Fenwick, and Griffin. With the change in the not stopping the clock after the first down, how does that help Oregon State in the big games against maybe some of those high-powered offenses like Southern Cal, where you're going to be able to maybe shorten the game a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of all over it there with our ability. We want to be able to run the ball. And let's face it, when you can establish the line of scrimmage and we do shorten the game, play some good defense, that's a recipe that can work for us. And so we'll try to take advantage of that. We do need to throw the ball better, in my mind, than we did last year. You get all these quarterbacks coming up on this stage all day to day. In this league, with the level of quarterback play, you got to score some points if you want to win. And so we got to be able to do that. But with the rule change, I do think that helps us because we want to run the ball, and we're into shortening the game.
And, Coach, based on the USC, the way the game finished last year, with the way that they're allowing to push the scrum, I mean, you win that game, Caleb's short by 1.5 yards, but they let do you see any change in that rule? Because to me, it's ridiculous. There's no forward progress rule anymore. It's basically until these guys go down, you get 5 big guys who are going to push the guy for, the 2 yards that Caleb needed to get that first down.
Yeah, I don't think it's an easy thing to officiate. I will say that. We did, got on the wrong side against SC. We got some fortunate movement, too, from our O-line pushing our back in against the Ducks from about 3 yards out. So all I'll say is I don't know if there's a rule change. It's just the way they interpret it needs to be maybe defined better.
Coach, you talked about your staff in kind of your opening answer. What has led to the continuity? I mean, when you have success, usually guys bolt. Yeah. And guys have had opportunities to leave.
And I'm totally into our guys ascending. I think we do got assistants that are ready to be coordinators are ready to be head coaches, and we want to be a place of ascension. And we've had that a little bit going to the NFL and things. I do think that there's a quality of life that you can compete at a high level in Corvallis and Oregon State. You can be the type of dad, husband you want to be in our place because of the location and the proximity to home. We've been fortunate that way, and we've worked at it. They've been compensated, and the administration's been supportive to try to retain as these guys doing a good job. And so all of that has come to the point where, guys like it around there, but we are in no way trying to hold them here if they got opportunities to ascend.
Next question is third row in the middle.
Yeah, Coach Steve Croner from the San Francisco Chronicle. You're part of the group, one of the 6 teams that finished in the top 25 last season. And kind of going into this season, there is kind of a sense from the outside anyway that there's the top 6 and the bottom 6. Which of the other 6, that bottom 6, which team there do you think has the best chance of getting into the top 6?
Well, I don't know, predetermine who's top and who's not. I get that because I just think week in and week out in this league, you better bring your A game, you're going to get beat. I think the bottom 12 can beat the top 1 on a given Saturday. Having said that, I got so much respect for so many of these guys on the stage. I think about Justin Wilcox and the defense he always had and how tight the games we've played year in and year out with those guys. He does a phenomenal job. A lot of new buzz, excitement in Colorado, down at Arizona State. I think both those two have a proven track record. I mean, Coach Prime, what he got done at his previous stop, winning a bunch of games, what says he can't do the same thing here. Kenny was phenomenal offensively for the Ducks this last year and got new buzz and energy there. I think Jed has done phenomenal for being the 2-year, the turnaround that's taken place, their ability to score, and now that they got it the 3rd year into his system with that quarterback. So I'm not totally answering your question with one, but I think all of them have opportunities to do really, really well this year.
We go to the back left.
Marja Benet with 4.0 Sports. Can you talk about your quarterbacks, Aiden Childs, DJ? I know he got drafted. And their play, will they be able to compete and things like that? Yeah,
we do like our quarterback rooms. I'll start with Aiden because you mentioned him first. Aiden Childs got here in January, straight out of high school, and really performed well in spring practice. You think about spring practice, 90% of the guys practicing have been in the program for a year. Well, you only got a small amount of newcomers that are brand new, and he's one of those, and he's competing at a level right with those guys. For a kid who's 17 years old, he won't even turn 18 till October. DJ came along as well in January, got a bunch of reps through the spring, got more and more comfortable from practice 1 to 15. And they did have a good teammate in Ben Goldbertson, started for us last year, like I mentioned, eight games. They worked well together, they communicated, and they're well understood that we're going to let this get into August, give a bunch of reps first couple of weeks, and let the dust settle.
As a former quarterback in this conference, I'd love you to reflect on the level of quarterbacks this year in this league. Does it remind you, have you seen a year like this?
I don't know if I've seen it quite this deep. How many, just return, the talent level, but the return statistics, it's going to be a challenge. Obviously Caleb had a phenomenal year last year. Penix, so impressive to see both those guys play live against us. Accurate, decision-making, competitive. Jaden Delores statistically, Cam Ward running around and making plays left and right. And I know I'm missing a couple of guys. Cam Rising, probably the most competitive kid in the league. So I can't remember a year that it's this high-level quarterback. And I think we're going to be a part of that. But I just go back to, you get that many quarterbacks that good, you got to score enough points to win games.
How about the variance in scheme within the other 11 teams in this league? What is that like as a coach on both sides of the ball, and how different is it?
It makes it tough. Because you're not getting the same cookie-cutter stuff week in and week out. Because offensively, there's some uniqueness to our place, Utah, but then you go to UW, and they're shifting motion, but they're more in the open set. Play SC, who can change the pace and do some stuff there. What Jed is, how creative he is at Arizona. We steal a bunch from those guys, so it makes it really hard. And it's on the flip side, too. Defensively, there's different scheme and good players. You get to know each other, and so you always got to be trying to stay a step ahead. You get into week 7, 8, 9 when you got more tape out there. So we got good players, but we got great scheme in this league, too.
Let's talk about Anthony Gould. He said he wants to co-host the show with Ashley, much like Jack Coletto did a year ago. Here's a guy who didn't really get on the field, didn't do much statistically early on, and now he's the face of this program at a position where you need to continue to make plays. What does this say to you about him being here with you guys here at Media Day, but also what he can do to this program and this offense?
Yeah, he means a ton to the program. Been here a long time, college graduate. He's one of the smartest guys we've had in the program over these last 3-4 years because we can move him different positions, competitive and tough. I think he's got a ton of fearlessness doing the punt returning thing, and he's changed games for us there. So he represents us in a big way. And then you look at this offensively, we're going to count on him. He needs to get touches for us to be as productive as we want to. Silas Bolton will be next to him, Josiah Irish receiver-wise, but Ant's going to be a mainstay for us, hopefully making a bunch of plays down the field.
You mentioned Jack Coletto, and I'm just curious because he was such a critical part of your program and did so many things for so many years. Has there been a transition? Is there a little bit of the Hammer void, or who's picked up that?
There's a little
leadership?
void, yeah, not just on the field, his personality too. But we're so happy for him. I think he got an awesome opportunity with the 49ers. I know he'll do everything to chase that down, but he's going to be tough to replace. He did a lot for us, offensively, special teams, defense. So we'll probably replace him with 3 guys. But he will definitely go down as one of the legends of Oregon State football.
Coach, got to ask you real quick about Catan as well being here. This is a walk-on who came back to get his degree, and now he's the leader of his secondary that lost a lot of guys. What does he need to do with that unit this year?
Yeah, he's got to help bring some of these younger guys along, and we're going to count on that. And he'll do it. He's one of my favorite stories, like you mentioned, walk-on back in 2018. Had some ups and downs, took him a little bit to figure things out and go, but now he's allowed his talent to take over because he's gifted. But now he's dedicated, learned the scheme, huge experience, and we're counting on that veteran experience to bring along a few young DBs because we lost 2 starting corners that were really good for us for a long time. Jaden Grant was a mainstay of the program, so that's secondary. We'll have some new faces, counting on Catan to lead it.
And we're counting on Catan to come join us on stage in just a few minutes. So thank you for your time, Jonathan Smith. Looking forward to seeing these Oregon State Beavers this year, and
Appreciate
best
it.
of luck to you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, we'll be back with your players in just a minute.